A very important message to the Bitcoin bullahs of the world. If you are bullish, if you're massively bullish or just even a little bit bullish for the month of December, there are some statistics that are very much relevant to you, as we'll be going over today's video. There are very specific times and then also areas to be interested in for a major low in the month of December, and it's perhaps happening relatively soon as well, assuming that Bitcoin is indeed bullish. Now, before we get into it, I should once again let you know that we actually do not have a sale going on. It is over, and for anyone who's trying to contact Elsa, please give her a little bit of time here, just because she's been absolutely inundated with emails. She'll get back to you within 48 hours if she doesn't, if she hasn't already gotten back to you. And then also, because I've been getting a lot of questions about this because I haven't spoken about it in a while, the Bluffin reduction, the cashback, is indeed now 15%, not 10%. So actually 50% better in terms of essentially fee reduction. It is, however, not technically a fee discount, which I think a lot of people get confused with, because you will pay the normal fees, but then you get 15% back in your account in the form of cashback. I've confirmed this many times with their representative now, because obviously I need to know, and so I can assure you that anyone who's used this link, which you can find a link to in the description below, can get this deal for the lifetime of your account as well. Anyways, let's get into the actual content of the day. And yeah, let's start it off right in over here. So we've spoken about a lot of December statistics on this video, on this channel, for the past couple weeks now. And today I want to bring about a new one. So in today's video, I want to be speaking about the average percentage drawdown from open to the low of the month that Bitcoin has seen in the month of December, and then also bifurcate that data by different market trends. And well, I can show you the work right in over here, and it's quite simple actually. Bitcoin December open to low. If we include all data from all years, then we do see about almost a 10%, I guess, pullback in this case from the open to the low, now, when we bifurcate that data between uptrends and downtrends, which right now is obviously an uptrend, so let's focus on the uptrending data. Well, that number goes down quite significantly, about 40% to 6.5%. So 6.5% average pullback, again, when the trend is up. And then if we take that one step further and just look at the halving or election years, whatever the fuck spin you want to put on it, that number goes down again another about 30 to 40% to about almost 4%, or 3.99. So we can now apply that to price action and get an idea of kind of where things, perhaps come in around. And then we'll also speak about, when that perhaps is likely to happen as well. Again, this is all with the assumption that Bitcoin remains bullish. Obviously, if Bitcoin sees some sort of massive rug pull, it's not going to hold true. But seeing as we already have the monthly open for the month of December, well, let's work down our list, okay? If we just go off of these straight up averages, about 10% to the downside would put Bitcoin at $87,500. I personally do think that would be worst case scenario. And actually, later on in this video, I'll explain why I think that's a little bit less likely to happen. If we go for just the uptrending data, then 6.5% or so puts you at about 90,900, or let's just call it $91,000, slightly above last week's low. I think that is very much possible. And as far as just the halvings and elections, these get significantly reduced, closer to 4%. That would put Bitcoin at about 93,300 or so. Keep in mind that one of these years for 2016 was essentially 0%. There was an ever so slight pullback there by the tune of I think it was 10 or 20 bucks on a multi-$1,000 number. So it just didn't register as anything. And of course, 2012 was just over 1%. And actually 2020 going to be the biggest one right there at almost 11%. So, fair enough. Those would be kind of the areas of interest that I'd be looking for on a potential pullback for Bitcoin. But taking this one step further and now speaking about when this is likely to happen, I've done the same thing over here. Marked off every day that we've seen the low for the month of December and just recorded the data. If we include all data, then the average low is coming in around the 10th of December. If we again bifurcate that data between macro uptrends and macro downtrends, macro uptrends, actually, a little bit less than 4. It's a little bit less than 4 days. So very, very early on within the month. We're already on day number 2, by the way. And speaking of, day number 2 is exactly where Bitcoin found the low in 2012. Not that it has to be the same, for this year as well. But I do want to point out that in the election and halving years, 2012, 2016, and 2020, well, that number has been consistently quite low. Actually, again, 2020, the only kind of, I guess, outlier here. That was the only one that did not happen within the first 7 days of the month of December, and also had the bigger drawdown as well. I should also indicate that during that year, the low in terms of price was actually pretty close in the early portion of December as well. But yeah, technically the actual price low was either the 9th or the 11th, depending upon which exchange that you use. So yeah. Anyways, so what am I trying to say? If you're bullish, if you think that this is still a continuation of an uptrend, you're likely looking at the lows early within the month, within the first week, and you're not looking for a tremendously large pullback, maybe more around 4% to 93, maybe all the way down to like 90, 91. I think, again, worst case scenario would be 88, but I'll explain in a moment why I think that that's less likely to happen. But let's see if that lines up with anything else. So for that, I want to go over here to our daily HPDR. This is for CME, and you can see that actually the bottom side of the 38.2 level is coming in around 95,350. So kind of around, one of those numbers. The 50% level is actually coming in actually at 93,700. So that would start to align with the average for the halving years. Again, very, very limited data set, but I guess it is there. And if things did come down a lot further to the 61A level, that's actually the $91,000 number. So we do see all these things align with other completely unrelated statistics. I mean, I guess they kind of are related in a way, but completely different angles as far as what the study is doing, this incorporating significantly more price action data. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Also, if we look at the weekly right here, let's actually go to spot price action. We can see that the 50% level is coming in where? About 94.5. So again, we're seeing a lot of things around similar numbers. And the 38.2 level actually 89,000 bucks. So, a lot of things kind of aligning around those regions. I would, however, say that if Bitcoin comes back down below last week's low, and especially closes below there, especially on a weekly time frame, I would massively revise everything that I'm saying right now, because everything that I'm saying right now, if that happens, is going to be wrong, like massively fucking wrong. So do understand, when we're talking about statistics, we're not talking about certainties. As always, I don't think that there's even a way to, certainly analysize things. Just shit happens. Like, that's why I use statistics, because more often than not, it's going to be right. But of course, on the fringes, it's going to be wrong. That's a really crazy concept, I think, for the lobotomized people of the world to understand. But luckily on this channel, we actually have a very small percentage. we have a very small proportion of lobotomized individuals, of which I consider myself lobotomized as well, but not that lobotomized, because that takes a special type of lobotomy right there to not fucking understand that, you herpy derp. Anyways, yes. Sorry. Just having a little bit of fun, okay? By the way, 5-day level as well. Bitcoin still continued to trend above the 61.8, so I would be expecting probably a test down around there. We're kind of getting it already, I guess. We've already seen Bitcoin break into the 95s. But if you start to see the 5-day, which closes in 3 days, by the way, it closed below about 95. Okay, at that point, do you have to really consider that Bitcoin is very, very likely to come back down somewhere around last week's low, let's call it 90 or 91,000 bucks. But we'd really want to see a slightly higher low in terms of at least daily closures. So yeah. All right, cool. We got that. New monthly HPDR as well, of course. Do I want to go over this? We kind of went over a little bit yesterday. Whenever I see something like this, Bitcoin's extremely likely to test the median this month at some point. Does it happen sooner rather than later? I don't know. I think Bitcoin, again, likely to pull back in the early portion of this month, that we've been saying. But at some point, extremely likely we will see a test up around there at least. The real question to me is Bitcoin are we going to see like a major rejection from that number or not? If we do, it's time to... the first pass will pull back, extremely likely. But if we see like an actual rejection, like a weekly rejection, then I have to reconsider some other things. But hey, if Bitcoin can actually close above this, then this month can get really fucking crazy. January can get even crazier, I guess. And the blue sky would be open if that does happen. So big level right around there. If and when Bitcoin does test it, certainly pay attention. But for now, short term, probably a good focus to be looking for the low of the month first. Anyways, moving on from there, some daily price statistics. We do see that Monday is actually tied for the most likely day to close positively from open to closure. It's the only weekday, it is the weekday that is the highest probability as well since 2024 began, and also has the highest average return for those positive closing Mondays. Now today, obviously opening up, or well, not opening up, but currently is negative. So, perhaps we see the other side of this play out. But just for reference here, 3.5% versus about 232% in terms of gains versus losses on average. In terms of price action to the upside, if Bitcoin were to hit that would be somewhere around 100,800, 100,800. Just to hopefully I said that properly. And to the downside, that would be about $95,000. Again, I do think it's actually more likely for Bitcoin to pull back early within this month deeper, actually. Something like this, perhaps. If put in a higher low like this and then continued upwards and always, that would look fucking great. Wedge itself into basically something resembling an ascending triangle. Again, I don't really actually care about patterns, but I care about trend, and that is just higher low, higher low, higher low. That is what matters most. It's not the only thing that matters, but it certainly matters the most, at least in my opinion. And so, yeah, one thing before the next. All right, we've got that. What else do we want to look at? Stochastic momentum. The month of December opens up, crazy. It is trending in the critical zone here. So again, another reason why I do think, we're probably not going to see this upside move go like the whole next year. I mean, you can only spend so much time in here, I guess. But hey, I can always be wrong about that. Anyways, for now, this is a really, really strong signal. Again, when you see a bounce around the critical zone, it's very likely you're seeing like a fucking massive move, and a very, very strong move. So I don't think it's fadeable just yet until we at minimum see this turn down, and that's would happen at the end of this month if Bitcoin closed below $87,000. I think that's unlikely, but again, that would be the pivot for that. Until then, upside remains the more likely thing to be happening. What else do we want to get into? Yeah, just a quick look at the quantum wave bands. I think it's going to be a cool idea to just continue to check on these at the end of every video, just so you can get an idea of what they're doing and if it's for you or not for you. Again, they're a scalping tool just for the 30-minute and the hourly time frame. They're not going to be training trades. They're not going to get you like the massive 100x quadrillion million % moves that the shitcoins are known for, and also it's also going to keep you safer from not getting fucking full on liquidated unless you're like super fucking over leveraged, like many people do on shitcoins as well. Or it's going to keep you from becoming a community member, which is simple parlance for bag holder. Anyways, 30-minute here has not made any new trades since we last spoke about it. The hourly strategy, however, did close a trade over the weekend. This one I think it could have traded better. Obviously, it opened at 96,250, technically closed at just below 97. Obviously, Bitcoin did get a nice move to the upside right here. It did not close during that. Again, this is one of those examples where, hey, if you had a little bit of technical know-how, if you're manually looking at these, you probably would have said, oh, we have an hourly signal. It's literally more than $2,000 above my entry. Maybe I take some fucking profit. Crazy idea. But now we wait for the next signal. And like I said, I'll continue to update these at the end of every video. I think it's just gonna be a fun thing to kind of follow up on. So yeah. All right. That's where we'll end things for today. As always, I want to wish everyone the best of best. Again, I made a note here. Give Elsa a break. Give Elsa a break. People have been very, very nice and very patient, and I appreciate that. She's our only customer service person, and she's literally working night and day. It's actually crazy. I don't even pay her. I don't even fucking pay her. I give her like 5 nanos, but that's enough. Anyways. That's where we'll end things for today. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.